Hello and welcome back to Trainz Plus. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Last time out, I was taking my first look at Surveyor 2.0, and whilst it took me a while to get to grips with some of the features, I think that Surveyor 2.0 is a pretty good upgrade from the original Surveyor and has a lot of functionality and can bring some of the older routes up to modern standards. There are a few things, of course, that I found a little bit troublesome with it. For example, some of the searching was a little bit difficult, but on the whole, I think that it once you are used to it, I think it is a pretty powerful tool. Now today, I'm going to be getting back into just driving a train. I've tried a train. What did I try in the first video? I can't remember exactly what it was I tried. I know I tried one of these fictional island routes at some point, but I think I tried something else as well in the first video, but that eludes me right now. Today though, I'm going to be trying this. A daily freight into Crawfordsville station. This is a route by TL, whoever TL is. Crawfordsville to Clements, generic region. Simulation gameplay, and I've got a C40 locomotive. So let's see what this particular route is like. I have no idea what version of Trainz this was made for. I'm just looking at the thumbnail. I'm assuming probably Trainz 2022, but we shall have to see. Make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started. Right, here we go. Good afternoon. Today you will be operating a freight train to Crawfordsville station. Your locomotive is a CNC40. Wait for a passing freight train and then you will depart. Prepare the locomotive for operation. I have no idea what that means. What does it mean to prepare the locomotive? Well, I guess I'll just tick that and tell you what I will do. Let's go have a look at the locomotive, shall we? Or the locomotive, the train itself. So three locos at the front. This is telling me this is going to be a long train. Let's zoom in a little, have a good look at some of this detailing. Okay, so a bit blurry textures there, but yeah, from that distance, that looks pretty good. Ooh, whoops. Looking at this, we've got some of the 2D textures there, and then some 3D textures on the track itself. So I think, looking at all the grass and everything, I think this might actually be a 2022 route. Weird ticking, it sounds like crickets. Shadows are interesting. They pop in and out a little bit more than I would expect. Also, I think this is not sitting quite correctly on the surface, so there is that. Let's have a look. Oh, this is a long train. Oh, this is a very long train. I think I can see the back of it though, with more locomotives. How many locomotives do I have? Probably 2 on the back, right? So 5 in total. No, 3 on the back. Oh no, yep, 3 on the back. So 6 in total. Canadian Pacific on the back. Great. So I am currently waiting for another train to pass. So going to see how long this takes. Now, I do not know my American signalling system, so I'm going to assume this is red. Junction is not aligned for this route. Okay, I'm just going to assume that is red, and I have no idea what the second red is for. So I'm not sure if that's red and red up ahead or what. In fact, I'll tell you what I could do is I can look at. There's see another signal. There it is. Have a look at this signal and see green and red. Nope, no clue. Where is that train anyway? Oh, there it is. Not that far away. Great. Okay, just warning me. This must be much shorter because it's only a single locomotive at the front. That's going past fairly smoothly. Oh wait, is it doing the horn for the level crossing? Is that what it's doing? Anyway, I better get my locomotive ready to go. Doppler effect. Let's have a look at the road. Okay, so I think this is for an older version because the textures are a bit a little bit shoddy in places. Is it going to blast the horn as it goes through the level crossing? No. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and get inside. So, number one, to get inside, I'm going to change my control mode to that so I can control it via this. Let's have a look at what we have. Bell. Let's press it. It does have a bell. Horn. Oh, and then it presses the bell for a bit. Good. That's going to go green for me soon. Reverser. So I can knock that into forward. Train brake lever. I'm not going to release just yet. Throttle. Independent. Good. What's this? Alert. Reset. That is not something I can click. This is a decent cabin. This really is a decent cabin. What's that? Remove. How do I hide things again? Hide HUD. What is it? Show interface F5. That's it. Route is clear. Proceed. Well, let's have a look at what it is. So it's one yellow, one red. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. So release the brakes. There we go. Headlights on? Let's put medium headlights on, I guess. There we go. That's bright. No. Medium, please. That's bright. Okay, I either have dim or bright. No medium. Oh, that moves quite easily. Why do I get rough handling? I just put it in. What am I missing here? I don't think I'm missing anything. Just need to start moving this. Okay. What other things can we? There's some switches down there. I can press these. Control stand light. Oh, that lights up. That. Gag lights. Gauge light. Right. Gauge. Oh, that was actually interesting. The texture appeared to change entirely. Well, let's get ourselves up and running. It is a little stuttery. Now, I'm going to point out again, actually, I don't think I've ever pointed this out. So I am going to point out that I am using an Intel i7 10700K with this. I am also using... Oh, I know something else I want to do. That button. This is a distance thing. I know this. I have no idea what the length of my locomotive is, but I'm going to see if this works. Will it ping me when I've gone... If this is what I think it is, which it may not be. So I'm just going to ease out of here anyway, and maybe bring this up another notch. It's got that, 200... I guess that is linked to that. Maybe I should know the length of the train first. That might help. Bell off. Yep. Anyway, yes, Intel i7 10700K, and currently rocking a RTX 4070. So that is what I have. So this is what I get with it. This is not all on ultra settings. So optimizations, I think it's the grass. It has to be the grass. Ooh, Windows. Oh, well, that doesn't really change. That doesn't change the sound of anything. Oh well. I think I'm going to be well around this corner before this train. It says marker on. Can I press any of these? No. Before I am clear of that signal. Or sorry, clear of that junction. Bits of Z-axis fighting. Just a little bit there on the display. But in terms of playing it, it's all right. Let's have a look at it from the outside. Oh yes, I'm still making my way through. What am I, halfway through? I think I'm halfway through. It's powerful locomotives, these. Although I guess that's a good way for me to tell how far, because I know where I put the marker. It was there. So that's 3,000 feet. So that's 1,000. It's over 1,000 yards already. We are getting towards a mile. We will be getting to a mile soon. So still on its way out. There's 4,000 yards. Sorry, 4,000 feet. That's 1,330-ish yards. I think this is a mile. This train is, I think it is a mile long. Oh, and just zoom out enough and you'll see where it is. And it looks like we are about to exit. (5,200 yards), and we are through. 5,498 yards, I think, is the size of this consist. Okay, so we'll say 5,500 yards. Sorry, 5,500 feet, not 5,500 yards. It's a bit much, isn't it? What else do we have here? It's quite basic. Clipboard with nothing on it. Can I press that button? No. That? No. Can I lower that? No. Can I open a door? Yes. Okay, cool. Can I pay attention to the road rail? Can I open any of this? No. Can I click anything here? Unfortunately not. It'd be nice if all of that was available. Something a bit like Derail Valley. I could do wipers. That rear wiper, that's on. Cool, switch that off. Anything else? Front wiper. Ooh, light. What does that light up? No idea. Maybe there's one on my side I can try. Oh, it's this light. This is that light. Oh, that's some weird texturing. No idea what's going on there. And it is struggling somewhat here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to see if I can drop the draw distance down a bit. This is by the way what I have as my detail. Let's even put that down. See what that does. That's not great. That there is not great. Wipers are good. Engine stop. No, cannot use any of that. Sounds are okay-ish. Bit reverby. Guess with the different locomotives all spooling up with slight delays. Let's really push this now. That's definitely clear. I'm fairly sure that means clear to me. What's that, 12 miles? 12 miles a minute? No, that's not right. Miles per hour / minutes. What? 30, right, that's 30 miles per hour, 11 minutes for what? I don't know what that means. $12 minutes. Is that how long it will take me to slow this train down? No, I don't think so. That can't be right. The sky is a bit blue. How do I switch on those front wipers? Is it that? No, I tried pressing that, didn't I? Wipers. Not that it is raining. What do these do? Oh, those are indicators for wheel slip. I can see that. Brake warning, lead axle sand, PCS open, and wheel slip. Okay, cool. Well, this seems to be a gentle journey. Let's have a look at the map. Should be alright. It's a bit long. I may not do the entire journey. Uh-oh. That was weird. May not do the entire journey. Depends on how long this takes. But I'm assuming this is going to be done within half an hour. So I've spent 20 minutes getting this going. I do like the fallen tree, the logs. It does look quite interesting. But I do see some sort of graphical struggle here. I'm not sure if this is because of new effects for... It could be new effects in Trainz Plus that this is struggling to cope with, whether it's with normal mapping or shading or something like that. I do see that being some sort of an issue. This train does lean, doesn't it? It really leans. Doesn't even look like it from... Doesn't look like it from the outside. But on the inside, this really is leaning in. Now it says 0 for whatever that is. So miles per hour. See, I have no idea. Let's bring the power up a little bit more. See if I can actually get to 50. Where are we? We're there. That seems like a long enough run. That all looks like it's a high speed. There's a couple of consists out there. Don't think I'm stopping there. And we're working our way down all the way to here, potentially. So we've done this bit. That's all I've done. Let's see where we go in. Oh, well, there's the train. Can I do a... There we go. Ooh, hang on. Just realised I'm going to have to do that. Also, I've just realised I have no idea what that signal is. Signal's green, that's fine. No, keep going ahead, keep going ahead. I need to get a good shot of this. There we are. Okay, quickly now. There are some weird little cutouts. I'm curious about that. The sounds of the wagons going by are quite realistic. Well, some of these don't have that sound, some of them did. These ones, I cannot hear the wind going past for these. That is a long train. That is a really long train. Well, these are different. It's nice to have the different noises. That's good. Good little bit of detail. I feel like some of them have maybe more default noises, and then there's these. We seem to be all right. So we're doing 50, so I'm just going to cut back on that entirely. And there is a little bit of a weird cut I've noticed with these, so that is something to look at. 51 now. Let's see if I can put a little bit of brakes in. There we go. Nope. There's a bit more. There we are. That should do the trick. Now I have no idea whether it does the proper, whether it has the proper brake simulation, air brake simulation, where it takes a while to apply those brakes and then to release said brakes. So that would be interesting. I see now change in speed limits here, unless that is not shown, in which case I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. I say that, I've just passed something. I think that might have been a mile marker. Oh, no, wait, that's a speed limit, 30. Okay. That's fine. I'll let the train start slowing itself down. Minimal use of the brake. Do I have dynamic brakes on this? Not that I can see. There's no dynamic. So slowing down to 45 miles per hour. I've already shed 5 miles per hour from my speed. 44. If I can get it down to near 40, that would be pretty good. Obviously there is this little downhill section there that might not help, but that's okay. I can then get on the brakes down to 30. So it gives me, I'm assuming that, yeah, it's a mile marker. 8 miles, 9 miles. 8 and 9 miles, that should be absolutely fine. In fact, I'm down to 39 now. 38, this is useful. Now, judging by the speed of deceleration, I think it does take into account where the various wagons are. I think that is something that is being taken into account. So those wagons are still on the uphill section, therefore I am slowing down further. But now that I'm in the downhill section, the wagons are joining the downhill section, that rate of deceleration has changed. I'm expecting to pick up a little bit of speed soon. But I've actually managed to get it down to the 30 without having to touch the brakes. Which I'm not sure if that's the most efficient way to do it on a timetable. Probably not. Is it the most efficient way to do it with brakes? Definitely. As little input as you can possibly have. Now, I'm not going to accelerate here, simply because I think, if my theory is correct, I should have a little bit of an acceleration before decelerating again. So it might bring me up to 31. As you can see, the rate of deceleration has stopped. It's at the moment it's plateaued, or rate of acceleration is plateaued. And that's worked. That's actually worked out near perfectly. There's the 30. Now I have no idea what these signals mean. That is a green. I'm assuming that one is mine. If it isn't, oh dear. We are now heading uphill, but I am in the 30, doing 30, which is great. Let's just wait for that to actually be wait for that top one to actually be mine, and then, oh dear, whistle, horn. Cool. Bell not required. I think I was alright. Where am I? I'm only, well, I'm nearly halfway there. Guess we're going through this section. Why does it say rough handling? That I don't understand. Why is it saying rough handling? I didn't do anything. I'm supposed to touch a power in. There's not much else I can do. Let's get this accelerating just a touch though. Push it just a bit. There we go. Back up to 30 miles per hour. Perhaps not as interesting as a stopping service with a passenger train, but still, it isn't too bad. It's a reasonable view. It does remind me of. It does very much remind me of the first time I played Trainz, and I mentioned this in my first impressions, that the first time I played Trainz, it was okay. Now what does that mean? I do not know what that means. The first time I played Trainz, I did this route in Australia with an iron mine and a train that was longer than this one, and it was pretty. It was nice to just run it and see what happens. I guess, does it mean I'm swapping over? Maybe that is what it means. No, I'm continuing straight, so that is not what it means. There's nothing here that informs me. I'm back into a 50 soon. So it would be nice if I could see the size of the consist right here. Maybe there's a way to do that. No, that's track profile settings, maybe. Navigation points, no. Junctions, no. Track marks, sure, what does that do? No. Okay. Animated portraits to, okay, fine. What does that do? Driver messages, oh, right, those are the messages I've been seeing. Great. Yes, that gets rid of that bit, which that's fine. I guess I could hide that, it doesn't really matter. That's the current time. That's a United States flag. This bit is a little flat. And then I've got green, green, amber. Okay. So I'll have to be wary. And it's 50 and 50. Okay, that's fine. Nothing to worry about there then. Okay, this one I can understand. I go. That's what that means. I know that one for certain. I go. .29 miles per hour. These dots are useful. I've seen them in a HST before as well. very, very useful to have dots like this. I do prefer a needle, but dots are fine. They are quite useful. They would be useful if they matched. Interesting. Maybe it's like GPS and what you see on a needle. Sometimes those are different. Well, actually, they are different by about 3 miles per hour. No, there we go. We're up to 30. Maybe it was just rounding. That's all. Still have no idea what that 0. Well, now it reads 0. What that is. It might be a rate. That might be an acceleration and deceleration rate. Potentially. Horn. That could be that. Oh, do I need this bell? No, go away, bell. Oh, did we pass the 50 start? That's fine. I was going to try and measure it and see if I got that measurement correct. Whatever, however many feet it was. 5,500 feet or something like that. That's okay. Not a problem. Going into a slight uphill. Power notch 2 on this is quite powerful. These are all green now, so that is fine. Past the grain yard, or grain silo, whatever it is. Silo, I guess. Just have a look at the map, see where we are. We are now there. There is a wobbly bit coming up, so I'm going to have to be wary of that. And then it's towards the end. So, am I going to be running this the whole time? Should I just run this entire route? Oh, where are you? How are you? I'm just thinking whether or not to actually complete this route. Let's run for another 15 minutes, shall we? See how far we get in 15 minutes, and then I'll decide from there. It is just more relaxed. It is giving me a good view of the kind of things people build, which is, well, this. The sky is very, very blue. Far too blue in my opinion. It doesn't quite seem to work, and the volumetric fog in the distances is not quite there. I say volumetric fog. I don't think it's volumetric fog. I think it's rally scattering. So yes, with the rally scattering, I don't think it's quite there. I think that might be how many miles per hour I'm increasing to. That is my acceleration and deceleration rate. That's why it says mile per hour per minute. So in notch 4 I will increase 8 miles per hour in a minute. That must be what it is. That's still 8 per minute. Okay, let's go to notch 6 and see what happens. 10, 11, yes, I think that is what it is. So we should be at 45 miles per hour in a minute. Let's find out, shall we? Okay, timing it. And now it's gone to 7, 6. Why has it done that? Oh, is it because of the uphill? Well, still timing it. See what happens. Yes, I think the gradient is playing a part in this. Half a minute has passed, and it is 5 miles per hour up. .41, 42. And that is the minute. 43, I think that is what it is. Okay, figured that out. Only took 35 minutes to figure that out. Go back onto the map and see how far we are. So I've done that bit there. That bit's going to be a little bit annoying, and then it's just this bit. I could potentially run the rest of it. Depends on how fast I get to go. It would be a little bit more interesting. What do you mean rough handling? I haven't done anything. I haven't changed anything. It would be a little bit more interesting if... Why does it now say 26 miles per minute? Or miles per hour per minute? What was I saying? Oh yes, it would be more interesting if this was double tracked and there was other traffic coming in from other directions. I think that would be better. But of course, that is not how this track has been designed. So that's fine. It is what it is. The spool down on these is interesting to hear. Very interesting to hear the spool down. So the whole notch 5 for a while. I feel like I can hear the crickets or whatever it is outside the locomotive. They are a little loud. Looking at the locomotive itself, texture wise, it could do with updates, I think. This does look a little old. Just normal maps there, and better texture, better metal texture there. Gauges are all fine. I think these gauges are not a problem. Apart from the Z-axis fighting there, gauges are not really a problem. These bits are okay as well. This could do with a bit of a polish. I think it just needs some polishing. The modelling itself, maybe slightly better topology there on the curves. And what else? Let's have a look. Yeah, just some topology on the curves. Add a few more polygons there, just to smooth that up. And that would be alright. Text is legible, that's fine. Maybe these bits can be improved a touch. That text is legible, that could be improved somewhat. I do wonder if there is a way for me to access these files and just see if I can update them and see what the texture files are actually like, what the sizes are of them, and see what happens. That would be an interesting test for me. Right, we do have a 30 coming up again. So are we getting to the wobbly bit? We are getting to the wobbly bit. So we're going to have to go through. I keep forgetting about that. So every time I press M, I go to a map. When I press M again, instead of it going back to my previous view, it just goes to whatever that view is. Right, let's go ahead and bring the locomotive down to idle. That spool down is quite good. Those vehicles are terrible. Right, we are coming into a 30 pretty quickly, so I'm going to see if I can get on the brakes and get this locomotive slowing down. Probably need more slowing down than that. That looks good. That's a good slowdown rate. There's the 30 marker. We're all right. Let's release it now and see what happens. It's still slowing down. Excessive acceleration. Where? Okay, so I do think it does have the feed. The train brakes through the entire thing, because I had clearly released the brakes and it was still decelerating, despite the fact that I'm into a downhill section. Okay, switch the bell off, please. Thank you. Trying to go through the wobble. I guess what I could do is just do this. There we go. That should tell me where I am in relation to the wobble. You know what? I think I'll just finish this. I'll finish this route. I might as well. There's a bit of clunking. I can hear a bit of clunking. Not sure where from, but there's definitely a bit of clunking. Potentially another thumbnail opportunity, something like that. Let's get back inside, and we are slight amounts of acceleration or deceleration, nothing too severe. We are going up a hill, so I am going to maybe give it a bit of power. Rough handling again for no apparent reason. Interesting lake. Very blue. Or lake? Pond? Should we call this a pond? It's a fairly big pond, if that's a pond. It should be alright for speed through this. So this is clearly the wobbly bit. I am a little bit confused about the messages that I keep getting of excessive acceleration and rough handling and all of that. I'm not doing anything of the sort, so I think perhaps something is broken on the limits. Maybe? I don't know. The thresholds for those things. Now there's a 50 coming up again. Good. Because 30 in a train is quite slow. I'm used to doing much higher speeds on a train in this sort of setup, this sort of scenario. Obviously this is quite a tight curve, but it would just be one tight curve and then off we go, back up to speed. In the UK, how many of these sorts of tight curves are there in the middle of nowhere? Not that many, I wouldn't think. There are some, but not that many. Rough handling again. Clearly, as you can see, I am throwing the locomotive around left to right here. In fact, it's so tilted, it's almost off the rails. I don't know. What exactly was I blowing the whistle for anyway? Or the horn? No idea. Surely you should be able to hear an accelerating locomotive. And accelerating 6 locomotives. Accelerating 6 locomotives? Let's try that again. 6 accelerating locomotives, that's better. 45 minutes through this particular video, which is interesting. But let's see how long it takes to get to the end of it. I wasn't expecting to have this video take quite this long. But that's okay. Now we're through that wobbly bit. Now we're going to be back into that. That's going to be a 50 pretty much all the way to the end of the... Oh, there's a bit of a... There's another wobble, isn't there? But that's the end. So I'm expecting that to be it. The only reason I'm completing this now, I'm over 65%, 70% of the way through. I might as well complete it. I was planning to give this video, what, 40 minutes or so, and say there we go, but there we go. That is what's happened sometimes. Right, this is what I want to check. I want to see if I got this measurement right. So I think that this locomotive might, or this train might be exactly 1 mile long. So that's going to be what, 1,760 yards, which then if you multiply that by 3 would be 5,280. No, it may not be 5,280. It might be longer than 5,280. Well, we'll see. I'm going to press this. As soon as I cross that 50, I'm going to press it. See what happens. Now, let's see what happens. So I'm expecting at 5,000. I thought it was 5,500, but if you do work out, it's 5,280 is a mile, 5,280 feet to a mile. If this changes to 50, when that changes to 5,200, or that changes to 5,280, roughly, then this train is a mile long. And my earlier calculation was correct. We shall see, though. It also shows just how long this takes. We're not even half a mile in yet. So it is going to take an entire minute before we can start accelerating. And there's about half a mile. So I wonder what this is. CS. No idea. It's got all these numbers. Oh wait, it says something. Greatest drawbar force. Okay. That's some sort of force. That's main reservoir. That's for brake cylinder. Train pipe pressure. Okay, that's the equalizer reservoir. Brake flow. Okay, and then that is something about drawbar force. I have no idea. I knew that one. I didn't know what this one was. Brake flow. Okay, and I have no idea what the CS is. Here we go. We're coming up to the right, or right footage. Yeah, sure. Footage, yardage, footage. Not. Well, that's why it's called footage, isn't it? When you say you shoot footage. 5,280. So initially I'd measured 5,500. Let's see what we have here. It's longer than a mile. This train is over a mile long. It's more than 5,500. It's just a bit more than 5,500. Okay. So it's 5,700-ish. I understand what that is now marking, why that keeps changing when you're at idle. It's because the wagons are clattering into each other. That's probably what it is. Let's go right into notch 8. It's like taking a HST straight into notch 8. Except I think a HST sounds much better. It does have some similar characteristics, but like for example the turbo whine, that is what I'm assuming this is, that I can hear. Let's see how far we have to run. I keep checking this, and it's yeah, we've got that bit, and then that looks like another 30, and then we've got that bit, and that's probably the end. Oh, that has to be the end. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take to get there. I do want to try out, I did see an East Coast mainline Edinburgh to Dundee route, which is 1 hour 20 minutes long. I might do that and split it into 2. That could be an interesting one. I have no idea which version of Trainz that was made for. I think it's probably Trainz Railroad Simulator 2019, which is a shame. But it would be interesting to see how different that looks compared to this, which I think is, as I said, I think it's 3 years newer, maybe more. Start dropping that power a little. Notch 5. Of course, I could do this from here if I wanted to. Just that. Hang on, that is a dynamic brake. How do I get this dynamic brake working? I've just noticed it. I should have noticed this earlier. I was reading these and saying, yes, this needs to be clearer. How do I get this into dynamic? I'm half tempted to try it. Let's try it. What happens? That's your dynamic brake. Okay, that's dynamic. Got it. That's what that means. Okay, this does have a dynamic brake. I was looking for a dedicated lever that, you know, you put the power lever in idle, then pull the dynamic, and no, it isn't. It's this. So you bring that to idle and then across, and that goes into this one, which is the dynamic, which at the moment, as you can see, cannot do anything because I'm not in. Okay, got it. Because I have engaged power. Good. That's something to note. Just keep going. Notch 3 now. Where's my fuel level? So that's the brake reservoirs. Fuel gauge, ammeter, no fuel gauge. Maybe over there. What's on that screen? That's a speedometer. Interesting. I would have expected a fuel gauge on something like this. This says ready, but I cannot press anything. There's nothing to be pressed, even though it does say ready, and it does look. It looks like it's usable, the way it's textured. It doesn't brighten nor dim. Might as well try and press the engine stop. No, it doesn't work. Now doing 50. It's fine. We are going slightly uphill, so this should be okay. Then of course there is this little downhill section in which I will probably kill the power. 51. Right, no, I will kill the power now then. There we go. But we will start slowing down, I think. Speeding, 50 as 50, and 51, there we go. Back down to 50. Lovely. Lod. Maybe a slight problem here. Similar issues that I get in Transports Fever. Different type of title though. Those LODs are also from mods, so somewhat different. I'll just let myself easily move along here. Maybe do another check of how far away we are. Oh, that's through this bit is also 50. Good. That's promising because that brings me pretty much to the end. Excellent. It's coming up to an hour. So that was a 1 hour journey roughly. And I'm getting those things all clattering into each other. All the couplings bashing up against each other. And there's the rough handling. There's not much I can do about that. You should have stronger couplings. Actually, if you had stronger couplings, you would have an issue. You need them to be able to move a little. Coming into a 30, this time what I want to do is perhaps try and use the dynamic. That would be interesting. So let's put some power in this time. Let's put a little bit of power in as we come into the 30. So this is where I'm assuming the mission's going to end. Just to give myself a bit of speed. And then what I'll do is I'll try the dynamic. I don't know because it doesn't. How do I use the dynamic on this? I'll find out how to use the dynamic. It's a good test. That's the point of doing these sorts of videos. It's to test various things. It's doing 46. I want to slow down. 47. I will be wanting to slow down to 30. So what I'm going to do is I'll wait until we cross milepost 29, and then we'll see where we go from there. Almost there. 46. Great. Well, slowing down because of the uphill. Excessive acceleration. Rough handling. Well, that's that. Right, now, what do I do? Dynamic brake setup, brake. That's how I engage the dynamic brake. That's pretty good. Okay, let's go on the dynamic, get this down to 30 with the dynamic brake. Can I hear it? I can hear the throttle still firing, obviously, because it's trying to slow this engine down, or slow the train down, not the engine. Come on. 35. I think I've got this. Somehow I've managed to do that. And then out of setup, into off. Well, that was pretty good. I'll say that was pretty decent overall. Good. Figured out how to use the dynamic brake. It even says here. I said, oh yes, earlier on I said, oh yes, this reads, I can read this properly. Didn't even bother reading what it actually said. To prevent equipment damage when changing from power to dynamic braking, or from dynamic braking to power, pause 10 seconds with throttle at idle and dynamic brake off. Well, I didn't really pause for 10 seconds, but I did pause for a few. I didn't just immediately swap from one to another. This isn't what's it called? What was that? What's that train? That train film with the long Unstoppable? Is that a train film? Yes, I think it was Unstoppable, where you have to shunt. I remember a scene where he's telling the conductor or something to shunt between power and dynamic, on and off, on and off, on and off, or something. Or was it slamming power off and independent brake on, and then doing the opposite, vice versa, every time? Something like that. I don't know. We are coming into a 25, but that's fine because I'm doing 27. So that is not a problem. I am now doing 28. Back down to 27. There's a red. I'm assuming I'm just going to be stopping there. I'll be using full brakes, of course. So this is probably where I'm going to be shunted off the line into a siding. And what do you know, just as I said that, pull up closer to the signal. Sure. Let's get this slowing down. I'm in the 25, good, and now I have to try and understand what it is that it is telling me. So I'm going to be shoved off that siding over there and stop at the end of the siding. That is what I'm assuming I have to do to end this mission, or to end this scenario. I think that's what they call them, scenarios. Not bad overall. Performance could be better. Performance could be a lot better. Graphics could also be better. I think it's just, is it the tessellation that's causing this? Is it anisotropic filtering that's causing some of this? There's clearly something. There's something that isn't quite right. Say hello to this person. You're not going to hoot back. Oh, might as well make my way down to the end. This is going to be a mile, obviously. At least a mile. But I also have to slow down, so it's going to take me probably 2 minutes to do this. All I have to do is make sure I don't jump the red at the end and ruin the entire scenario. That would be annoying. Not that it really matters, because there isn't really career progression. Just to get the sun glinting off the top of that, that's interesting. How it's flickering. It's very, very interesting. Oh, this is a weird siding. It looks like there were once more sidings here. Another 1, 2. Now it's just this one. Very interesting. How much of my train's actually in? Most of the train's in. Oh no, I just cannot see the back of the train. No, that's the back of the train. Most of it's in. That's pretty good. Just take the locomotive all the way to idle now. Rough handling once again. There's the signal. I'm approaching at 20. That is not too bad, I think. There are lots of locomotives here to slow this consist down. 6 locomotives in total I can slow this consist down with, plus all the brakes on the consist. So that's not bad. So what is that? 6 sets of dynamic brakes and all the actual pads, whatever it is, friction discs. Plus just the natural friction and mass of the train. Well, I say mass of the train, we are on a flat, so gradients of 0%, so perhaps not the mass of the train really doing much, it's just going to be friction that is going to have an impact here. I think I can stop this train from this distance, should I need to. Maybe I should actually initialize the brakes though. Let's do that. Let's do that and actually get the brakes. There we go, just about applying. Just in case. Because you never know. See how much closer I have to get to this actual signal. It might want me to get really, really quite close. Okay, the brakes are pretty strong. Excessive acceleration somewhere. Bell can go off. I can probably switch the headlamps off. Switch headlamps off. There we go. And we'll just stop the train. I think at the whistle mark is probably a good spot. Ooh, brake squeal. Lovely. That way I can actually see the signals. That makes it a little bit better than where I started. Session ended. Tick. Now what? Oh, well, I guess that was it. Yep, that seems to have been it. Can I switch the engine off? Don't think so. Probably switch the lights off. Not the step lights. Where was the control light? The weirdly spelt gauge light. There's control stand light. Switch that off. Didn't have to ever press that. No, that's that. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. A few more videos on Trainz Plus. Leave a comment in the comments box below. Yeah, it looks like there were 3 more. Looks like there were 3 more sidings here. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. Any suggestions you might have. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. Oh, that was actually fairly close. Is this one going to go? Or is it just going to stop and stay here forever now? Oh dear. Supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me and this train that is just over a mile long. I assume the map runs out somewhere here. I shall see. There it goes. That's the end of the tile, that's the end of the map, and I shall see you next time in whatever I'm going to be doing in this, in Trainz Plus.